Where are you going? Kofi asked, worry etched on his face. I'm going to find the baobab tree and solve its riddle, Amina replied confidently. I'll bring back wisdom for our village. In the heart of the African savannah, the village of Nambole thrived, its people living off the land and working together to overcome challenges. Among the villagers was a young girl named Amina, known for her stubbornness and selfishness. Despite her father's best efforts to teach her about community and generosity, Amina remained focused solely on her own desires and ambitions. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, Amina's father, Baba, gathered the villagers around the communal fire to share an old legend. Amina listened, her curiosity piqued. Long ago, Baba began, there was a mystical baobab tree that stood tall and proud in the deepest part of the savannah. It is said that this tree could grant wisdom to those who could solve its riddle. Many tried and failed, but those who succeeded found answers to the greatest mysteries of life. Amina's eyes sparkled with interest. Baba, where is this baobab tree? I want to find it and solve its riddle. Baba chuckled, shaking his head. Amina, the journey to the baobab tree is long and treacherous. It requires more than just determination, it requires a pure heart and a willingness to learn and grow. Amina pouted. I can do it, Baba. I'll be the one to find the tree and bring back its wisdom. Baba looked at his daughter, concern in his eyes. Amina, wisdom is not something you can just take. It's something you earn through experience and understanding. Promise me you'll think carefully before embarking on this journey. Amina nodded, but deep down, she had already made up her mind. She would find the baobab tree and solve its riddle, proving to everyone that she was destined for greatness. Early the next morning, Amina packed a small bag with food and water, determined to set out on her journey before anyone could stop her. As she was about to leave, her younger brother, Kofi, caught her by the arm. Amina, where are you going? Kofi asked, worry etched on his face. I'm going to find the baobab tree and solve its riddle, Amina replied confidently. I'll bring back wisdom for our village. Kofi frowned. But Baba said it's dangerous. You shouldn't go alone. I don't need anyone's help, Kofi. I can do this on my own, Amina insisted, shaking off his hand. Kofi sighed. At least take this, he said, handing her a small, intricately carved wooden charm. It's for protection. Amina reluctantly accepted the charm and set off, her heart filled with determination. She walked for hours, the savannah stretching endlessly before her. The sun beat down relentlessly, and Amina soon realized that the journey was more challenging than she had anticipated. As she trudged along, she encountered an old woman sitting under a tree, weaving a basket. The woman looked up and smiled kindly at Amina. Hello, young one. What brings you so far from your village? The woman asked. I'm searching for the mystical baobab tree, Amina replied. Do you know where it is? The old woman nodded. I do, but the path is not easy. You'll need guidance and help along the way. Amina frowned. I don't need help. I can find it on my own. The woman sighed. Stubbornness will not lead you to wisdom, child. Remember that. Ignoring the woman's advice, Amina continued on her way, determined to prove herself. She walked for days, growing more tired and frustrated with each passing hour. On the third day of her journey, Amina stumbled upon a dense forest. The trees were tall and thick, their branches intertwining to form a nearly impenetrable barrier. Amina hesitated, unsure of how to proceed. As she stood there, a voice called out from the shadows. Hello, traveler. What brings you to this forest? Amina turned to see a tall, slender man with piercing eyes. He wore a cloak made of leaves and carried a staff adorned with feathers and beads. "I'm searching for the baobab tree," Amina replied. "Can you help me find it?" The man smiled. "I can guide you, but you must first pass a test. This forest is enchanted, and only those with a pure heart can navigate its depths." Amina's heart sank. She had always been selfish and stubborn, and she knew that her heart was far from pure. But she couldn't let this man know that. "I'll take the test," she said confidently. The man nodded and handed her a small, glowing stone. "This stone will lead you through the forest, but only if you are honest and true. If you try to deceive it, you will be lost forever." Amina took the stone and entered the forest, her heart pounding. The path was dark and winding, and she quickly became disoriented. She tried to use the stone to guide her, but it remained dim and unresponsive. Frustrated, Amina threw the stone to the ground. "This is useless. I don't need a stone to find my way." As soon as the words left her mouth, the forest seemed to close in around her. The trees grew taller and thicker, and the path disappeared entirely. Amina was trapped. Desperate, she picked up the stone and held it tightly. "Please, help me," she whispered. "I don't know what to do." The stone began to glow faintly, and a soft voice echoed in her mind. "You must be honest with yourself, Amina. Only then can you find your way." Tears filled Amina's eyes as she realized the truth. She had been selfish and stubborn, and her heart was not pure. But she was willing to change. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I've been selfish, but I want to learn and grow. Please, show me the way." The stone glowed brighter, and the path through the forest reappeared. Amina followed it, her heart filled with newfound determination. As Amina emerged from the forest, she found herself in a small clearing. In the center stood a humble hut, and outside sat an elderly man with a long white beard. He looked up as Amina approached and smiled warmly. "Welcome, traveler. I am the elder of the savannah. What brings you here?" Amina bowed respectfully. "I seek the wisdom of the baobab tree, elder. Can you help me?" The elder nodded. "I can guide you, but first, you must learn the value of humility and patience. Sit with me and listen to my story." Amina sat down beside the elder, eager to learn. The elder began to speak, his voice gentle and wise. "Long ago, there was a young prince who was as stubborn and selfish as you once were. He believed that he knew everything and that he needed no one's help. One day, he set out on a journey to find a legendary treasure, but he quickly became lost and disheartened. Along the way, he met a humble shepherd who offered to help him. The prince scoffed at the shepherd's offer, believing that he could find the treasure on his own. But as days turned into weeks, the prince realized that he needed the shepherd's guidance. He swallowed his pride and accepted the shepherd's help. With the shepherd's guidance, the prince found the treasure, but he also learned a valuable lesson: true strength comes from humility and the willingness to learn from others. Amina listened intently, understanding the lesson in the elder's story. "Thank you, elder. I see now that I must be humble and patient. I will do my best to learn and grow." The elder smiled. "Very well, Amina. You are ready to continue your journey. Follow the path to the east, and you will find the baobab tree. Remember what you have learned, and you will succeed." Amina followed the elder's instructions, her heart filled with determination and humility. She walked for hours, the savannah stretching endlessly before her. Finally, she reached a large clearing where the legendary baobab tree stood tall and proud. The tree's branches stretched towards the sky, and its trunk was thick and ancient. Amina approached the tree, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she stood before the tree, a voice echoed from its depths. "Welcome, traveler. You have come seeking wisdom. To gain it, you must solve my riddle. Are you ready?" Amina nodded, her heart racing. "Yes, I am ready." The tree's voice grew softer, almost as if it were whispering in her ear. "Here is the riddle. I am not alive, but I grow. I have no lungs, but I need air. I have no mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Amina thought for a moment, her mind racing. She repeated the riddle to herself, trying to find the answer. "I am not alive, but I grow. I have no lungs, but I need air. I have no mouth, but water kills me," she murmured. Suddenly, the answer came to her. "Fire. The answer is fire." The baobab tree's voice echoed with approval. "You are correct, Amina. You have solved my riddle and proven yourself worthy of wisdom." Amina felt a surge of elation. The baobab tree continued, its voice rich with ancient knowledge. "You have shown determination, humility, and intelligence, Amina. But wisdom is not a gift, it is a journey. Take this seed from my branches and plant it in your village. Nurture it, and let it grow. As it thrives, so too will your wisdom and that of your people." A seed, glowing with a soft light, descended from the tree and landed gently in Amina's hands. She gazed at it with a mix of awe and responsibility. "Thank you," she said, her voice trembling with gratitude. "I will cherish this seed and ensure it grows strong and wise." With the baobab seed safely tucked away, Amina began her journey back to Nambole. She felt different, changed by the experiences and lessons learned on her quest. The journey back seemed shorter, and she found herself reflecting on everything she had learned. When she arrived at the village, the sight of familiar faces filled her with warmth. The villagers, curious about her adventure, gathered around as she approached Boba. "Boba," Amina said, presenting the glowing seed. "I found the baobab tree and solved its riddle. This seed is a gift of wisdom for our village." Boba's eyes widened with pride and amazement. "You have done well, Amina. You have proven yourself not only to be determined but also wise and humble." As the villagers listened, Amina recounted her journey, the challenges she faced, and the lessons she learned. She spoke of the old woman's advice, the enchanted forest, and the wise elder. Each story was a testament to her growth and transformation. That evening, the entire village gathered in the central square. Amina, with Boba's guidance, planted the baobab seed in the heart of the village. As she covered it with soil, she felt a deep connection to the land and her people. "We must nurture this seed," Amina said, addressing the villagers. "It will grow and thrive if we care for it, just as we must nurture our wisdom and community." Over the following months, Amina dedicated herself to the care of the baobab seed. She watered it, protected it from harsh weather, and ensured it had the nutrients it needed. The villagers, inspired by her dedication, joined in, and the seed began to grow. The baobab tree flourished, its branches stretching high and wide, providing shade and a place for the villagers to gather. It became a symbol of unity, wisdom, and the strength of their community. One day, as Amina sat beneath the tree, Kofi joined her, a smile on his face. "You've changed, Amina," he said. "You're no longer the stubborn and selfish girl you once were." Amina nodded, her heart filled with contentment. "I've learned that true strength comes from humility and the willingness to grow. The baobab tree has taught me that." Kofi looked up at the tree, its leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. "And you've taught us all that, Amina. The village is stronger because of you." As the years passed, the baobab tree continued to thrive, and so did the village. The wisdom and unity that Amina brought back from her journey became the foundation upon which Nambole built its future. Amina grew into a respected leader, guiding her people with the lessons she had learned. She ensured that the spirit of the baobab tree lived on in the hearts and minds of the villagers, fostering a community rooted in kindness, humility, and shared wisdom. And so, the legend of Amina and the baobab tree became a cherished story in Nambole, passed down through generations as a reminder of the transformative power of wisdom and the importance of nurturing both the land and the spirit.